So one thing we didn't talk about when we did our Sundance recap was the documentary Public Access,
Hmm.
which is about the whole cable companies being required to provide public access to a group of people who otherwise would not be on TV, and the crazy things that they were producing and putting out there, and the stuff that would not get by standards today on any kind of
Right.
network. But yeah, it was kind of astonishing seeing all of that, and uh,
We we had that. We had that in my neighborhood. You Channel 8, I think it was, and you could sign up and they would loan you three-quarter inch cameras and the tape.
well,
And you can go out and shoot whatever you want and they'd air it. You can do a show, you can do a documentary. I mean, one guy had like a religious show he did. It was when you think about it at the time, it's actually a pretty cool concept for people to take advantage of.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's getting to be a YouTube star before there was YouTube. Only there can only be one of you at a time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anything good came out of it, but I'd be curious to see who some of the public access veterans are today and what they're doing.
I
To kind of
mean,
like,
one thing that was incredible that was that some of the people who are stars, but in like Blondie and and I think Clem and and the band had like were regulars on a show out of New York all the time, and then some other notable people in sort of like the post-punk world were all visiting occasionally, dropping by these days. Tons of nudity, tons of
yeah,
soft and not so
shameless.
soft porn. Yeah, a childbirth on TV like in the 70s.
Okay,
Uh, it's some crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah, but interesting, and certainly people, and then of course a whole bunch of free speech advocates purposely pushing
of
buttons.
course, of course. So most of that I don't need, but I am glad that the operation existed for those with the artistic merit to want to take advantage of it. I yeah, I miss Clem.Burke actually. It's funny. I was just thinking about him yesterday.
Hmm.
Drummer for Blondie, who played a charity concert for us and had done multiple episodes of Combat Radio and was really one of the good, real guys out there. I mean, Clem.Burke, you could have a conversation with that on the street about these very things. And in case you don't know, because at some point in the fucking broadcast it shut off, we were talking about the legendary film Zardoz with Sean Connery because it's one of Eric Mark's favorites. I don't get it, but he loves it. And
It's in my top 3,000.
Zardoz speaks to you, his chosen ones. You have been raised up from brutality to kill the brutals who multiply and are legion. To this end, Zardoz, your god, gave you the gift of the gun. The gun is good.
top three. We were actually talking just to backtrack about Eric's love for Wizard of Oz and how I think the movie's terrible and every character in it's obnoxious, including the fucking wizard at the end, who really needs to get punched in the throat. But I said the best reference, favorable reference to Wizard of Oz, and I use the term favorable loosely, was in the film Zardoz, which is one of those unwatchable sci-fi films. It's got cult status, but um, to use an example of what Clem.Burke was like, you could stop him and talk about something like that right on the street, and he would engage you. Like there was no, he was such a real guy. And so many times we would see him play. I think you were with us once, the farmers market with like the guys from the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, not only was I there, as you know, I picked up a symbol for him to sign. Like I had to
Yes, you
go to
did.
go.
You did. And do you still have it?
I think we got it signed and auctioned it off.
We re-auctioned it off. Yeah, he was really good about it. We that was kind of a surreal thing because you are right off of Fairfax, vintage Dupars, and the Dupars in Studio
Yeah.
City has shamelessly been converted to Sephora because we don't have enough of those.
Mhm.
But we would sit there at a table getting ready to play, and I remember it was like him, Glenn Matlock of the Sex Pistols, James Stevenson from The Alarm, and Gene Loves Jezebel, and we're just sitting around and we're talking about something like World Cup soccer, and somebody walked by and shot a photo of it, and they were like blown away. But in the moment, you don't really realize who you're talking to. Being we're all friends, you kind of forget, like, oh yeah, you were in that band. I forgot. But Clem was a guy that was so disarming and so easy to be around. You know, I think he is in the memorial reel for a combat radio that we played at the beginning of A Christmas Carol. All the contributors to combat radio and Sean's charity work that we've lost are in this reel. And hopefully it won't contain you or me for a while. Although Stephen Peterman thinks he's next to be put in it. But of course, Peterman, co-creator of Hannah Montana, relatively shameless anyway. He thinks like he's next to be in it. But the funny thing about it is Clem's in it, and Clem got one of the biggest applause. He's got him and Richard Roundtree both got huge applause when their memorial scenes popped up in the theater before the show, and it was good to see that. It was because you share all these moments and this sense of kindness and these near heroics these people offer up. Truly like a magnificent human contribution from some of these people, but you don't know how many people outside get it. And when you're showing a video clip from like Union City Blues and the drumming, are the young people in the audience going to know who this guy is? But when he popped up, I started to cry because I cry at it every year. I'll confess. I cried when I saw it the first time because Jeff Conaway, and these emotions kind of come back to you when you see it. And I never look at it before the show. So Carlos Barbosa cuts it and then it goes up. But when Clem popped up, that's when I broke down this time because I'm like, fuck, he should not be gone. He should not be gone.
Yeah.
And another casualty of cancer. But you go through these things, and you try to pay homage however you can, and that's how we did it for him. And it was nice to see the audience react like that. You, of course, will not be in it for years.
Away, yeah.
What's
yes.
that?
Yeah, I well, likewise. But when he passed away, certainly there was an outpouring of love for him on social media, as there are for many celebrities. But it seemed very sincere and honest, both from the people who knew him and from the fan base. A lot of people who didn't. Just a lot of kind words in terms of both him as a person as well as his skill as an artist.
Yeah, and there are those people, and he certainly fits this category, who never really make it about their work. They're the person first who happens to have this job that has certainly led down this magnificent road. And he's one of those guys. And I remember, he was also the drummer for the Eurythmics, the Romantics. At one point, he was the drummer for the Ramones, and he picked the name Elvis Ramone because he thought Clemmy Ramone didn't sound very good. And, it showed that he was in demand with all these bands and loved that. It really did kind of give you some insight into what he was like to work with. And at the time, it's funny, he was with Glenn Matlock and the International Swingers. That's what they called themselves. It was James Stevenson, Gary Twin in the lead. And and it was just one of those things where he seemed to have fun doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed to enjoy it. And we saw that at the farmer's market. I mean, the farmer's market is a casual gig at best. At best. But the environment that they brought to it was magic. And it was like they made it was almost like I think they went back to the CBGB mentality, or like a backyard party trying to prove yourself when they played that place. And he's missed. He's missed.
Bond. James Bond. We would be honored if you would join us.
The world needs a wake-up call.
This is your old buddy, Uncle Pete, playing you a little tune to tell you how much I love you. I know you're going through some stuff right now. Well, don't worry about it. We got you covered. Love you.